Roll up the sleeves, guys. Roll up the sleeves. Short week, but it's going to be an intense one. The Russians reveal that Barack Obama is arming ISIS terrorists. Should America hire the MAFIA to put a hit on ISIS? And speaking of ISIS, they're reportedly working on developing chemical weapons for use on you and me. And Hillary clears up all the confusion for us. Islamic terror, turns out, has nothing whatsoever to do with Islam. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry, great stocking stuffer, and of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back. I trust your weekend was good. We are living in unprecedented times, and nothing could illustrate that more than my doing something that's pretty much unprecedented here on the show. I'm going to play a video for you right here on the opening segment. I know I never do that, and that's why it's unprecedented. It's only a 38-second video. Let's see if I can make that. There we go. It's my favorite ex-Secretary of State and yours, Hillary Clinton, and she is assuring us, in case you thought any differently, that Islamic terror has nothing to do with Islam. Let's listen to her lie her sorry ass off. Here we go. You're up, Hillary. Oh, Hillary. Okay.
Let's be clear, though. Islam is not.
So, do you get this, my friends? Islamic terror has nothing to do with Islam. Now, why am I opening with this clip? We already know Hillary Clinton was a disaster as Secretary of State. We already know she is a liar. We already know she's on the side of our enemies. So why am I playing this clip? Why am I starting my broadcast week, my truncated broadcast week, because we're not on Thursday. I think there's a holiday or something. Why am I playing this at the opening of my show? Here's why. I'm glad you asked. What's wrong with America? Well, that's a hell of a question, but this is key. This video clip is key. Used to be you had America, and America, like every country, had problems. And the people we put in positions of authority would work to solve those problems. Now, America has greater problems, and the people in authority won't even agree that there are problems. In fact, if you say there are problems, they will take issue with you. Maybe the greatest problem facing the world today is Islamic terrorism. Wrong, says Hillary Clinton and her former boss, Barack Hussein Obama. Nothing Islamic about Islamic terror. Think about that. Nothing Islamic about Islamic terror. So the people running our government, the woman who is jockeying for position in Washington, the head of the free world, they don't care about telling the truth. They're telling obvious lies that you and I know are lies, and they don't care that we know because we are completely inconsequential. We don't matter to them in the least. Maybe like a mosquito buzzing around your head. But they're not afraid. Hillary's not afraid to go out in public and tell the most obvious, blatant lies because she figures you and I are idiots, and whether we are or not doesn't matter because we don't matter. And that, my friends, is what's wrong with America. American people haven't changed. American culture is not to blame. Our leaders have stabbed us in the back. Our liberal leaders have stabbed us in the back. They don't lead. In fact, they are working against the best interests of America and Americans. And that's why I decided to play this clip. Hillary Clinton talking anti-sense. Nothing Islamic about Islamic terror. So not only is she not going to find the answers to our problems, she won't even admit that she knows the questions. And she won't countenance anyone raising those questions. Item from Bloomberg. U.S. actions in the Middle East helped Islamic State to gain influence, Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev said, according to Interfax. The strengthening of Islamic State, quote, became possible partly due to irresponsible U.S. politics, unquote, that focused on fighting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad instead of joining efforts to root out terrorism, Medvedev was cited as saying in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. President Barack Obama earlier on Sunday said that Russia is facing a strategic choice as Assad can't stay. The Obama administration declined to comment Sunday on Medvedev's statement. Unquote. My friends, it is far from news to say that Barack Hussein Obama has been arming and enabling and strengthening Islamic terror worldwide. That's been the main focus of his administrations, and now he's bringing it here in the form of 200,000 Syrians, plus God knows how many more he can sneak in before he leaves office, if indeed he does leave office. Item from PamelaGeller.com. Headline, Obama's jihad against Americans. I quote, it was unprecedented in American history. The U.S. president took to the world stage to viciously attack Americans not once but twice in as many days. In the wake of the Paris jihad massacre, French President Hollande declared it's an act of war. President Obama, on the other hand, declared war on the American people. Like Bertolt Brecht, that spineless, gutless running dog for East German tyranny, Obama believes as the people vote the wrong way, change the people. Of all the imperious actions Obama's taken over these long 7 years of his anti-American presidency, the most egregious is his fundamental premise that it's not he that serves the people, but the people who serve him. A few days ago, I addressed Obama's ugly tirade against us at the G20 summit in Istanbul, here at Breitbart, noting that in his speech to the G20 summit, Obama took a harsher tone with Republicans than he has with ISIS. In the wake of the Paris jihad slaughter, he's obsessed with importing more Muslims, not defeating the Islamic State. And he calls anyone opposed to increasing Muslim migration, namely the GOP, quote, shameful. My friends, what's shameful is Barack Obama and the fact that millions of Americans voted for him not once, but twice. It's Monday. It's Riell Truth. I'll be back. I hope you will too. Don't touch that dial.
Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies reminds everyone the death of involvement in an auto accident rises dramatically with the consumption of alcohol or use of drugs. Please think before you drive. Don't let drugs or alcohol ruin your life or take the lives of others. You are responsible for your own safety as well as the safety of those around you. This message from Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies. For information on their services, call 970-484-7981. Now, this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law incurring the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
All right, guys, welcome back. Howard Riell Truth Nov show on Thursday. It's Thanksgiving, I think. This year it's on the 21? 22? Anyway, it's this Thursday. Trust me. Judge Jeanine Pirro, Fox News Insider, talking about Obama's refugee stance, and she's asking him to be honest for once. Well, Judge, good luck. Here we go.
Hello, welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro.
Well, that's my open all the time, too. God help us, because our leadership has turned against us. Our leadership has turned against us. And who can we thank but the brainless millions who voted for Barack Obama? Item from the Associated Press. Dateline, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, pushing back against efforts to bar Syrian refugees from resettling in the U.S. President Barack Obama vowed Saturday his country will be a welcoming place for millions fleeing violence around the world, quote, as long as I'm president, unquote. Obama commented, so stop right there. My friends, we have given so much authority, so much power to the presidency that the president, whoever it is, can rule like a dictator. Anybody out there in the political debate talking about that? Talking about taking power away from the presidency and making sure it's evenly distributed? No, nobody is, right? Only I am, right? That's the source of our problems. We have thrown so much influence, so much authority to the White House that he needn't check with anybody before doing what he wishes. And here's Obama doing what America is outspokenly against, and nobody's stopping him. The car is hurtling forward and there are no brakes. Item from Breitbart. 5 of the wealthiest Muslim countries have taken no Syrian refugees in at all, arguing that doing so would open them up to the risk of terrorism. Stop! Of course that's true. Of course they're right. Why are Muslim countries smarter than we are? Well, it's not that they're smarter, they're stupider. But they don't play PC games, and they don't play politics. Just like China doesn't, just like Russia doesn't. Call a spade a spade. Be honest. These Muslim countries, which ones are they? I'm not going to go into that. 5 Muslim countries haven't taken a single Syrian immigrant because they know there's terror. The same reason Jordan doesn't want the Palestinians, because they know the Palestinians will wage terror war against them. Only the leftists in the Knesset and in Washington, D.C., in the Beltway, only the liberals are so smart that they willingly, yes, please, inject us with cancer, by all means. Item from AmericanMilitaryNews.com. Giovanni Gambino, son of convicted mob boss John Gambino, clearly doesn't think too highly of the punks calling themselves the Islamic State. A frequent defender and apologist for the mob said that Sicilian neighborhoods around New York City, as well as other areas of the 5 boroughs, should feel safe knowing that they have their back against ISIS. In a recent press release, Gambino said, quote, the world is dangerous today, but people living in New York neighborhoods with Sicilian connections should feel safe. We make sure our friends and families are protected from extremists and terrorists, especially the brutal, psychopathic organization that calls itself the Islamic State. As proof, Gambino points to his native Sicily, where ISIS has yet to form a splinter group in fear of mafia retaliation. Unquote. My friends, I'm not here to argue on behalf of the mafia, but there's another example. I was just talking about these Arab countries, China, Russia, and now the mafia. These are countries, or in the mafia's case, an organization that don't play games. They may indeed be evil, but they're adults. They walk their talk and they talk their walk, and they won't be conquered by anybody. Only liberal politicians are nice enough to give away the country, because liberals are children. Emotionally, psychologically, they are. And they believe is true whatever they want to believe is true. And if something's too hard to believe, then they just don't believe it. And that's where you get the Democratic Party. Item from the Washington Times. The southwest border has broken open in recent weeks, with non-Mexicans and illegal immigrant children in particular crossing at a record rate in October, according to Border Patrol statistics that suggest the administration's victory lap earlier this year was premature. Nearly 5,000 unaccompanied children were caught in October. Nearly 3,000 more had been caught in the first half of November, a record pace for those months. And it signals just how closely smuggling cartels and would-be illegal immigrants themselves are paying attention to lax enforcement in the U.S. Unquote. My friends, it is all sabotage. Whether the illegals are coming from Mexico or whether they're coming from Syria, we are being loaded down with problems. Intentionally. Item from Breitbart. In one of her first media appearances in nearly a decade, Juanita Broderick, the woman who famously accused Bill Clinton of rape, is now speaking out against Hillary Clinton's candidacy for president. Quote, "Shame on you, Hillary, that's disgusting," Broderick said of Clinton's attempt to run for high office, in part on women's issues. Quote, "Shame on you, Hillary, it's time to be truthful," unquote. Ms. Broderick, the time for Hillary to be truthful was long ago. She obviously has no intention ever of being truthful. Item from KGNS TV. 5 more Syrians have been stopped at a Laredo, Texas port of entry on Friday. This brings the total number of Syrians seeking to enter the U.S. through our city this week up to 13. According to a statement from the Department of Homeland Security, 5 Syrian nationals presented themselves at the gateway to the Americas Bridge. A family consisting of a man, woman, and child. 2 other men were taken into custody by Customs and Border Protection, a standard procedure. Unquote. My friends, lax border protection is being charitable. There is no border protection, nothing to keep a Muslim army of young men, angry jihadi young men, from coming here and doing here what we see them doing in Paris, what we see them doing throughout Europe. Thank Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton and the liberals, because they are importing terrorists. Make no mistake about it, that is exactly and precisely what they're doing. And from the southern border, they're importing Democratic voters. It is the great sabotage of the United States of America happening in real time, which makes sense because this is real truth. We'll take a break. I'll be back. Go nowhere.
So I'd like to put my 10 minutes shot.
Even bigger, while putting your deposit more at risk. I'm Joe Jacob, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. To learn more, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592. And of His fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son is in the bosom of the Father. He has declared it. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated.
All right, guys, welcome back. Stuart Varney, Fox Business and Culture, talking race relations in America. Here we go.
It's related to mighty, which
All right, that we don't need to hear about. Sharknado 3 can take care of itself. But I happen to think that Stuart Varney and Ann Coulter are right. America is not a racist country. But there are people, race hustlers, you know their names as well as I do, who profit from racial strife, and they create it, and they're to be found in the media as well. And we have to be the cooler heads, and we have to prevail. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline, Baghdad. The Islamic State group is aggressively pursuing development of chemical weapons, setting up a branch dedicated to research and experiments with the help of scientists from Iraq, Syria, and elsewhere in the region, according to Iraqi and U.S. intelligence officials. Their quest raises an alarming scenario for the West, given the determination to strike major cities that the group showed with its bloody attack last week in Paris. U.S. intelligence officials don't believe it has the capacity to develop sophisticated weapons like nerve gas that are most suited for a terrorist attack on a civilian target. So far, the group has used mustard gas on the battlefield in Iraq and Syria, unquote. My friends, the Muslims just keep ramping up their weapons capability, and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton keep bringing more and more of them here. You connect the dots. Item from the Daily Caller. A student at Columbia University is urging the school to inject more diversity into its required courses, claiming that she suffered severe emotional trauma from reading too many books by and about white people. Stop. My friends, a little bit of a thought experiment. Let's say there was a white student who said she was suffering severe emotional trauma from reading too many books by and about black people. Well, the world would erupt. The sky would fall. Giant crabs would roam the landscape. Everyone in the world would be united against it because it's racism against blacks. Well, racism in general is deplorable. So why is it okay when it's directed against whites? Something to think about, right? Item from the Associated Press, Dateline, Jerusalem. The Israeli military says it raided a Palestinian radio station and confiscated equipment used to broadcast calls to attack Israelis. Stop! Palestinian radio station? Why the hell are the Palestinians allowed to operate a radio station? Better question. Why are the Palestinians allowed to operate within the borders of Israel when they make no bones about the fact that they want to destroy Israel and kill Israelis? I got to tell you, until the liberals, the leftists in the Knesset, wrench their brains around and realize that they're playing politics is getting innocent men, women, and children killed and might lead, God forbid, to the end of their own country, until they do that, no one in Israel will be safe. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Riell Truth marches on. All right, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I will post it. You know the drill. Remember, we're off on Thursday this week for Thanksgiving. Anything you want to say before I go? No? Okay, that's good. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.